She was a bright, joyful little girl whose laughter once filled her home and whose smile could light up any room. But behind closed doors, that light was slowly taken from her by the very people who were supposed to love and protect her. This tragedy has shaken an entire country and exposed the devastating consequences of silence and neglect. Welcome to Whispers of the Taken, where every mystery is a voice lost in the shadows. This video is based on public information and falls under fair use. Like, subscribe, and comment. Even the quietest voice can echo the loudest truth. Jacqueline Mimi Torres-Garcia was described by her loved ones as a bright and joy-filled child whose affection and laughter lit up the lives of those around her. According to statements made by her grandfather, Felix Osorio, Mimi was my love. She was everything for me. She was happy all the time. Real happy. She liked to play. Her tender age placed her in late elementary school at the time she was still participating in public schooling. It is known she attended kindergarten through 5th grade in the New Britain School District in New Britain, Connecticut. During those years in the school district, Mimi would have participated in standard academic and social experiences typical for her age, learning foundational reading, writing, mathematics, and engaging with peers during elementary school settings. Her attendance in the public system indicates she had peers, teachers, and the daily rhythm of school life up until 5th grade. On August 26, 2024, her mother withdrew her from the school district and simultaneously filed documentation indicating she would receive home instruction. Beyond academics, according to a memorial note shared on a GoFundMe page set up by family and community members, Mimi was said to have loved to dance, was always smiling, and kept a caring eye on her siblings, acting naturally as a caregiver in the little way a child can. Her personality, as reflected in these accounts, highlighted a sweet-natured girl who valued family, delighted in playful activity, and brought warmth to those she knew. Though many external details of her daily life, friends, hobbies, favorite foods, celebrations, remain limited in publicly available sources, the composite image emerging from school records and family comments is of a young girl who was present in her community, engaged in schooling, and loved by her family. Her early years in New Britain frame the backdrop of what might have been a continuing childhood journey under more stable circumstances. Authorities say Jacqueline's decomposed remains were discovered inside a storage container behind an abandoned home in New Britain on October 8, 2025, and investigators believe she died in the fall of 2024. Police allege the body had been stored in a basement for an extended period and moved when the family relocated. She was never reported missing. 3 people have been arrested and charged in connection with her death. Carla Garcia, the girl's mother, and Jonathan Nanita, the mother's boyfriend, face serious counts including murder with special circumstances and related charges. Both have been held on multi-million-dollar bonds in some reports. Jacqueline, or Jacqueline Garcia, the mother's sister-aunt, was also arrested and charged with unlawful restraint, risk of injury to a minor, and cruelty to a person under 19. All 3 appeared in court, and the criminal investigation remains active. Search warrants and reporting say investigators uncovered allegations of prolonged physical abuse and malnourishment, including claims that the child was restrained with zip ties and denied food in the weeks preceding her death. Authorities also allege attempts to conceal the death. For example, that another child was presented over a video call to a Department of Children and Families, DCF, welfare check after the time police now believe Mimi died. Those specific allegations come from warrants, DCF timelines, and local reporting. They are part of an ongoing investigation and will be tested in court. Because the case raises questions about oversight, the Connecticut Department of Children and Families has launched a review of its involvement with the family, and surviving siblings have been placed in state custody. Prosecutors and investigators say the probe is continuing. Evidence collection, forensics, and court proceedings are ongoing. So more charges, details, and formal findings may follow as the case moves through the legal system. The alleged abuse and suffering that Jacqueline Mimi Torres-Garcia endured is almost beyond comprehension. It is impossible to imagine how anyone could look at a child, innocent, trusting, and full of potential, and respond with cruelty instead of care. The people accused of harming her stand as a stark reminder of how evil can exist in quiet places, hidden behind closed doors and excuses. There is no justification, no explanation, no defense for the kind of pain that investigators say Mimi was forced to live through. The outrage people feel is not just emotional, it is moral. It comes from the collective understanding that children should be loved, nurtured, and protected above all else. Those responsible for her suffering must face the full consequence of their actions. Accountability in this case cannot be lenient or delayed. It must be thorough, public, and absolute. The law should speak clearly that a crime against a child is a crime against society itself. The courts have a duty not only to deliver justice for Mimi, but to affirm that no child's life is disposable. Prosecutors, judges, and investigators owe it to her memory to pursue every truth and to ensure that those responsible are never again in a position to harm another child. But justice doesn't end with the courtroom. This tragedy exposes systemic failures, from the oversight of homeschooling records to the follow-up of child welfare visits, that allowed a young girl to disappear without alarm. Every agency involved should be forced to confront its shortcomings and implement reforms to make sure this never happens again. That means better cross-communication between schools and child protection services, stronger laws around at-risk children being withdrawn from public education, and more funding for social workers and intervention teams. And finally, justice for Mimi means remembering her for who she was, not just as a victim, but as a child whose laughter once filled a home, whose smile once lit up her grandfather's world. We owe it to her to let this outrage fuel something meaningful. Stronger protections for children, louder voices for those who cannot speak for themselves, and a community that refuses to look away from suffering. May her story push every one of us, from citizens to lawmakers, to act with the compassion and vigilance that every child deserves. Their voices may be gone, but their stories still haunt the silence. This is Whispers of the Taken.